Good morning and welcome everybody to this beautiful event. And just want to really acknowledge your receptivity to the energies that are showing themselves. So this is the new energy wave and your higher purpose in Earth's evolution. So we're going on a joint journey today, and we'll just see where it takes us. And we're all here because we can all feel kind of this bit of a push-pull energy, or can feel the majesty of the energies that are coming onto the planet. And then we can also acknowledge what's going on in our everyday lives and what's going on in the global world. And sometimes there can feel like there's a pretty big disconnect between what you sense and what you receive from the universe and what you perceive and what you're living in your, in your everyday life. So we just want to acknowledge that. This is neither right nor wrong, nor good nor bad. This is the transition that we've all actually chosen as part of our higher purpose. So if we can all acknowledge that and actually right now in this moment have a breath out at that recognition. So you can breathe in and breathe that out. You were fully aware and are fully aware that there would appear and you would be aware of gaps. And this is not a problem, which is hopefully where we'll get to by the end of this call today. Also like to acknowledge that everybody here and listening is recognizing a shift in their intuition, their intuitive capacities and their sensitivities. And today we'll be touching on how to utilize those for your own greatest ability and for the planet. And so during this hour that we have together, I'm going to talk about some of these frequencies. I'm going to give you some examples of how they play out. We're actually going to do an activation of your coding, attuning to these incoming energies. So we're going to build some awareness, then do an attunement, and then run through, I think, two major reframes that really support you to embody this higher purpose that you're here for, even though it's not rational, perhaps logical, probably not, but it is all of those other extraordinary experiences that I know we all have, where things just literally go clunk, 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 and you could never have imagined that that's the way it was going to, in inverted commas, turn out. And part of the energy of that is you being you, because we are all individual activators of this new wave of energy that's coming through. Can we breathe that in, please? We are actually activators. We're receivers. We're givers, gifters, and activators of this new energy coming through. Our sensitivities and our intuitiveness are expanded because we're receiving more, because there is way more intel, for want of a better word, beaming onto this planet for greater possibilities than has ever been on the planet, ever. So every time there's a revolution on the planet, like the Industrial Revolution, there was a significant, I'm not an astrologer, right up there, I read the energies. So every time there is there's a significant change on the planet, so the Industrial Revolution, we're about to go into what's being called the technology revolution. We know it's way more than technology, right? Every time that occurs, that there are new streamings onto the planet, and there are beings of us here to receive that intel, to run it through our bodies, for want of a better description, and to be this difference and to be this change. Where I have been aware of the greatest block, some of my languaging feels clunky because we're in transition, right? Because your intention is there, but then there's patterning that sometimes inhibits the integration of this fully into your, not only your body, but the way you be in the world. All right, so, and that's what this call, this call is about today, to bring that into greater capacity. So where there are blocks or resistances, conscious or unconscious, I'm reminding you that you have the capacity, and it is only the programming and sometimes perhaps some energetic disruptions, disturbances that are making that more difficult than it appear be, because you are actually coded for these energies. There is some new coding, which is what we're doing in a few minutes, some new coding waiting to be activated in attunement with the new wave of energy coming in, because even though astrological, it all lined up, we didn't actually know we'd be as far into the light as we actually are. So we came coded, but we didn't know which codes would be most effective. And so we're going to play in that space a little bit further on. So one of the other energies that I've noticed is very helpful for people is when we find ourselves in resistance or difficulty or challenges or I can't get it or whatever, is to actually drop the conclusions that we've made about that it's difficult, that it's wrong, I must have done the wrong thing, and begin to be curious and ask questions of the energy, not of the problem. So as an example, I've got some stuff going on with my feet at the moment. So I'm not so much asking my feet, I'm asking the energy of my feet, what they require to be able to be really beautifully walking on this planet. And the awareness I'm getting is extraordinary. And then you go, oh, really? Oh, whatever. Right? But we get there. So, but the curiosity is a key. Judgment, conclusion will work against you. That's where the unconscious are. Judgments and conclusions. We're into the curiosity and possibilities. And when you want a simple reminder, there is one. So where have I gone into judgment or conclusion, and how can I bring myself back into curiosity and possibilities? So as I said, these frequencies have never been on the planet before. So when we go back to looking at past lives and all those sort of things, we've got to remember these frequencies have not been here before. And so looking back isn't actually necessarily going to give you what these energies are. In some of the work I do with people, we do future self and future work. It's a bit outside our call today. But the other important thing too is that these new energies are for the earth as much as they're for you. So earth in the cosmos is actually a greater, it's like an expansion point for the universe. It's like a portal. It's like when energies can pass through Earth, it affects the rest of the universe. So it is actually a portal energy. Now, when you're a conscious being on the planet at this time, do you think that means that it's really beneficial for you to know who you are? that this is actually about you and about you as a being, as that activator, as that carrier of frequency, how that changes the frequency of the planet. Each one of us is actually the possibility. Each one of us is actually this wave. We are the wave. We're the receptors and the transmitters of this wave of energy that's coming on. Each one of us does that very uniquely. And the most receptive part of our being to that is not only our heart, as most of us have been working with, but it's also our infinite heart. And during our activation, we'll be working in that space and in that energy field. So this energy of gifting and receiving, being the transmitter and the receiver of these new waves. And the thing is, we don't, now, if anybody's offended by swearing, I need to tell you, I swear. So I do apologize if you're offended by that. It's part of it. It lands the energy. Right. Now, I've just lost the swearing statement, but just so that you know. So we are the receiver and the transmitter. We are the generator of these energies. We don't always the fuck know what they mean or where they're going to take us, right? So we need to be more expansive, more expansive, more curious, with less definition. I don't know what the fuck this means. I don't know what it means to run an event such as this. But do I do it? Yes, because the intel has come in. Let's talk about the next wave of energy and the higher purpose of everybody. Let's bring that alight. Let's give people an opportunity to play in a possibility portal. Let's do that. Okay. And the same thing will be happening to each of you in your own world and in your own way. So, you know, I worked recently with a woman who was an accountant, or is an accountant, has been for 15 years. She's very competent, very successful, felt like crap, depleted, disconnected. Where's the passion? We got a download, and all of a sudden completely opened up for her love of environment. Now, within a couple of weeks, she was working for an environmental organization. She was completely back in the love of what she was doing, and she now knows that she is serving her greater purpose in that organization because she's receiving and transmitting in a consciously chosen environment. And it gives you so much momentum. So if you're feeling bleh, then you know that part of these new energies are asking you, it's not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, everybody. It's asking you to go, oh, okay, how do I bring this into higher purpose? That organization thinks she's the best thing since sliced bread. She has cleaned up some things within their structures that are extraordinary. So when you tune into these frequencies, your work, your relationships become not just what you do, but rather they become your absolute contribution to the planetary evolution. That's the possibility. We've been talking about this for quite a while. It's more real now than ever. And part of the activation of this is the receiving of this stuff that you don't know what that is. And that's why today we're going to the infinite heart space, because it will activate up in you the intel. And if you can stay out of your head and into the possibilities, whatever it is that you're searching for in terms of your higher purpose will become obvious. And it's connected to the things that go ping, 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 tick, tick, tick in your being. And that you've probably and possibly been told don't make sense. You need to be realistic. You know, in fact, I had an email from another client just a couple of days ago who just had a very unpleasant experience because she is on fire, right? Totally on fire. And she asked her sister to give her a hand at an event. And her sister went feral on her, right? Told her she was false positive, just like she was isolating, da 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 da, right? All of this, like, poof. It's like, whew. And of course, the truth is, the universe is showing her how true to who she is actually being, right? Just because another person goes at you doesn't mean you're not being true to who you are. At this point in transition, quite often it means you are so on fucking point. And if you haven't healed your wounds, you'll take yourself off your trajectory. And with these new intels, this new frequency, it is tapping you on the shoulder and saying, or kicking you up the ass, one or the other, hopefully tapping and kicking. It is showing you where those, for want of a better word again, woundings, where those resistance to your power is still at play. What if what you call your wounding is actually simply your resistance to your power? Nobody's done anything to you. Your parents didn't do it to you. Your siblings didn't do it to you. This is your resistance to your power. So using my last client as an example, that visibility, that's where we go. That's the resistance. And that's what we receive the next intel around and go, whoo-hoo. So I'm going to pause there for a minute and invite people to ask a question if they would like, or make a comment. Simply unmute yourself or pop it in the chat. Crickets, crickets, crickets. I love crickets. They're a sign of good fortune in the Chinese, in the feng shuis and all those. So I'll go with that. So the next...
Sorry, I'll ask a question.
Thank you, Sherwood.
Sorry, I've got my retainers in everybody. I sound ridiculous, but anyway. I've been having literally bang, right, you're going to fall flat on your face down the driveway and graze your hands and your knee and your other knee after being at somewhere I thought was a fantastic meeting, nearly run off the road literally 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago. I don't know what the message is. How do we, and I'm really open at the moment, I think, but there's some definite bang, bang, wake up, sister stuff happening. And I don't know what the message is. What's the best thing to do in that situation where you know you're being prodded, but what the frig is the message?
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. Are you being prodded, or is there psychic interference?
Psychic interference.
There you go. So everywhere where you've not allowed yourself to acknowledge your psychic abilities,
got it.
Recognition of psychic interference, can you collapse, disintegrate, dissolve, disappear, and evaporate all of that in infinite possibilities?
Got it. Yep.
Yep. So you're not a victim of it, you're actually aware of it.
Great. Thank you. That makes me, I've got goosebumps, feeling so much better. Brilliant.
So you're aware of it then, and then I don't know whether you have tools to address that, but yes, there it is, because that exists in the world, because there's green-eyed monsters, there's, all sorts of things, but it exists.
Got it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Now I see. Oh, thank you, Ivana. Thank you. I'm glad you're receiving it as gold. Yay! Gold is actually one of the one of the very activating energies. There's a few people on the call where I was shared a lot about the gold energy a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, today, the next thing I want to talk about before we do the activation is the invitation in these energies to be really present. To really be in the, I'm going to call it again, in the moment. Not in our past, not in our future. Because everything is changing so rapidly. Can we be in the present moment? Can we not make judgments of the past or projections about the future? Can we be here totally receptive to the magic and miracles that are pouring onto the planet? Can we allow that to be a power? And can we allow it to expand our higher purpose? Our higher purpose has no interest in judgments and no interest in conclusions. Our higher purpose is absolutely like, oh my God, I wonder what's next. Oh, what? Oh my God. It's like walking into a treasure chest going, oh, I think I'll play with this. I think I'll play with that. And you will be drawn to some things, just like, when you're a kid in the candy shop. Oh, I want one of those. It's not by doing any psychological assessments or deep inner work, right? It's like, it's right there. And that energy at the moment, it is coming in waves, but it will be more. It is like, oh my God, I could do that. Oh my God, we could do this. Oh my God, we could create that. Oh my God, let's do that. Because our higher purpose is to receive and gift and activate the higher possibilities for ourselves and our planet. And our definitions can sometimes be too small. And as we allow ourselves to follow the energy, it will expand us. The definition can narrow it. Intention is, we're all familiar with this, I'm sure. Intention is, a much more active energy and much more supportive. But what I witness a lot is the intention becomes a definition. And what this energy is inviting us to, because everything is changing so quickly, partly because of technology on the human level, it will change our world. So when you are looking at the world as a treasure chest and following that energy, that which lights you up is your purpose. The bigger light, the brighter light you are, is your purpose. And you will have preferences in that, which is perfect. Like the woman, the accountant woman, she has preferences. She loves working with all the figures and all that. She loves it, loves all the systems, loves it. But it dropped in its love because there was another potential calling that she ignored, because she assumed none of them would be able to afford her. An assumption and a judgment. They wouldn't pay what she was used to receiving. They pay her more. That's the judgment. Not so. So this presence involves also being aware that you're more than a human, right? if you're the average Joe, and I have no judgment on this, but if you're the average Joe, you're not likely to be on this call. So you as a being have chosen to be conscious that you are more than the human. You're an infinite being, conscious on this planet at this time. You're not even having a human experience. You're sharing a body. Gratitude for this masterpiece of creation. Because there's an invitation right now at this point in today's call is, did you come here to be a human? There is humanness about us, for sure. And that's not bad. I'm not judging it. Because that's what this being in form on this planet includes, humans. So it's not right or wrong, good or bad. It's just, what's your awareness? You're actually greater. Because you have access and receptivity and transmitting abilities of the new waves. Why are you in a fucking human body? And I say that like not a fucking human body. I don't see it as dense. I don't see it as some sort of degradation of your being. I see it as an enormous privilege to be in a masterpiece of creation. It's not problematic. It's an absolute joy. And so being present in this, in every moment, not in the past, not in the future, because in that presence, you will make different choices. If you're living in the future, you'll make a choice today based on where you assume you have to be in the future. If you're living in the past, you'll make a choice based on escaping the past, probably, or repeating the past. I wish I had a partner like that one again. So you're not actually in the present. And the more your unique coding is awake, in inverted commas, the easier that becomes, because your nervous system of the body is actually tuned up to your full presence on the planet right now. This particular awareness and this gift of the new wave is increasing our awareness. So we can become aware of where our programming is running rather than our biggest capacities. So an example of this might be somebody who is quite intense in meetings because their programming says intensity and forcefulness is effective. Right, so that's what their programming says. So they go, get meetings. When you realize actually and calibrate to the authentic part of you, well, then you can actually lead from a much calmer, much more creative, much more confident space, yeah? But if you don't know who you are, if you're like, I'm a human, the victim of my programming, that will be quite difficult. And sometimes, not sometimes, part of the dynamic that is unfolding is that a lot of our nervous systems are programmed for someone else's definition of power. So when you allow yourself to recalibrate to your authentic presence, your unique coding, you can access a much bigger field of influence that doesn't deplete your own energy or others. So psychic interference is an unregulated nervous system gone cray cray. All right, let me check the chat box again. Trish, not today, no, because that is in fact a completely different subject, and today we're talking about the new wave of fabrics. So I just added a little bit in there, but yes, as we're in passing, I'll refer to that psychic interference, but yes, that's not the topic for today. Any other questions or comments before we're going to go actually in now to do the activation of your unique coding in alignment with this new waves of energy outside of definition, judgment, purpose. So this is an opportunity to receive the frequencies. And then there are two other energies that will, awarenesses, I think, that will really support the expression. Expression of that. So before we do this, any questions, comments? I did this one before. Somebody might have said something. Steph, this resonates so much. Thank you. Thank you, Steph. Yes, 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 yes. It's all about the resonation. Right. Okay. So for this part of today's call, I invite you to relax in your body. You don't have to lie down. Our bodies are so with us. I can't tell you how with us our bodies are. And so just in this moment, before we go into this, be in gratitude for your body, what a gift it is, and acknowledge its capacities that are also evolving and changing with us, with the planet. Let's take a moment to remember that our bodies are of the earth. We are of the cosmos, the infinite being is of the cosmos, the body is of the earth. Each time we incarnate, she gives us this most extraordinary body. And with the appreciation for your body, I invite you now to bring your focus to the back of your heart. And imagine that it's a portal, and it's drawing your awareness deeply into a space where you recognize this infinite light. Energy is drawing you into a space through the infinite heart into the infinite light of you. And in this recognition meeting, the light recognizing you, recognizing it, allow the full sensation, body, mind, everything else, whatever that is. The recognition of your infinite light. And observe how the light simply expands. It starts to reach out to all the cells of your body, all the cells of your body remembering the infinite light of you, of your choice to be here at this amazing time on this extraordinary planet. Oh, it's all coming back to you. All the excitement, all the possibilities, all the passion, all the gratitude, all the appreciation, all the excitement. Wow. You get to play on earth in this frequency. Wow. And this light is moving through your body, through your being, through your systems, through your psyche, your circuitry, lighting everything up. Instantly bringing the allowance of you and all that you be to be. This light of you, allowing the light of you to be right here, right now. Clearing the pathway, lighting up the choices, freeing your frequency, escalating your light, expanding your connection to the planet and everything that is this planet. The soil, the air, the bugs, the animals, trees, the wind, the sun, vitality, the creativity, the free will, the free will, the creativity, the free will, the creativity, the ability to create, curate here exists nowhere else in the universe. This experience of being able to create. The experience of experiencing, of contributing, of receiving, of gifting, playing, creating. Of being the possibility. And imagining now that each time you breathe in, every pore of your skin is breathing in this light. And every time you breathe out, every pore of your skin is breathing out this light. Every time you breathe in, breathing in this light. Every time you breathe out, you're breathing out this light. You are resonating as the infinite light of you on this planet, bringing a light, all the uniqueness of you. Brighter and lighter, realer, truer. Breathing in the light through every pore of your skin. Breathing out your light through every pore of your skin. You are the receiver of all of these new codes as you breathe in, and you are the transmitter of all of these new codes as you breathe out. All of these different ways of being and choosing on this planet as you breathe in, and all of the sharing of those and the contributing from those frequencies as you breathe out. Breathing in all the possibilities of your uniqueness. Breathing out all the new experiences of your uniqueness. And as this becomes your being, that this is the way you resonate. Find yourself opening your eyes. Wiggling your feet. Twinkling your beautiful light-filled toes. We can have some water, that would be lovely. And Sue, I see your question. I will respond to that at the end of the call. If I haven't done so, just send me another little text and I'll jump back to it, because it may answer itself with the other two things that I'd like to share today. So, how's everybody going? Anybody like to share their experience? Tingly from Trisha, yay. Incredibly hot, broke out in a sweat. Yay, Lisa, you are on fire. Yes, it is. Yes, it can be quite emotional, remembering who we are and our capacities. Totally, absolutely, Steph. Very expansive. Expansive beyond, Ivana, expansive beyond, like beyond the human cognition of expansion is what this energy is. That's certainly the way that I experience it every time I touch into it. It's like, I got no idea. Calm, Jennifer, love wash. I felt the warmth within, the tears of love, absolutely. Kylie, lots of much needed shifts mentally, physically, and emotionally. Fantastic. Pia kept smelling pepper, essential oil being peppered up. Oh, how exciting. That reminds me of my of the papaya seeds that I have most mornings that are peppery. And it's so interesting this too, that the peppery of those seeds, the moment you have, if you have the seeds alone, they're peppery, right? When you have the piece of papaya with it, it neutralizes everything out. And so it's such a beautiful lead in to actually what we're talking about next, which is part of these new energies are moving us out of polarity. And that's an example of when the pepperiness of the seed meets the sweetness of the papaya, the whole experience completely changes. Everything changes in its flavor. The papaya on its own tastes different, and the seeds on their own taste different. You bring them together, neither sweet nor peppery, and it's heaven on earth. And that's exactly what we're talking about. These new energies are asking us to move out of polarity. Polarity has contributed massively to consciousness growth. Recognizing the polarity, it is not the way that we move into future Earth. Beck said, beautiful energy. Thank you, Bet. And Trish said, saw myself as total light, totally separate from my physical body. The light grew bigger and bigger. And your physical body is the light too. So when the recording comes, you might like to re-listen to it. because our physical bodies are light. This is part of the separation process that's not really going to serve us into the future around seeing our bodies as separate from our beings. Because you could say that a positive charge and a negative charge are different, which they are. And so our being and our body are different, which they are, but they're actually unity. And everybody knows we're moving into unity. And we're at the beginning stages of this awareness. And again, it's important that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because our body at the moment still operates on polarity, positive, negative charges of the minerals to move things in and out of the body, right? So this is not a blanket. Life is not a blanket rule. And we've been programmed to make blanket rules. So I just look at the medical situation and where it's become statistic. Statistically, if you have this gene, you are 75% more likely to have this. Breaks my heart. Total misuse of technology. That's polarity. Nobody ever asks about the 30%. Everybody assumes they're in the 70%. And therefore makes choices in that fear and that assumption and that conclusion, not in creativity, possibility, what else is available to me. So beautiful sharings. Thank you. So that again is this conscious choosing versus polarity, or conscious choosing, including polarity. Right? See how our language gets all very clunky. But our conscious choosing is in this new wave. So the new wave of energy is asking us to think outside our programming and outside our programming that is based in polarity. Am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Am I doing the good thing or the bad thing? Am I doing the fair thing or the unfair thing? So every time we do that, we have limited the possibilities to the good thing or the bad thing. So how much are we in possibility if we are choosing from the good thing or the bad thing? And when things don't change, guess where we're choosing from? Either the good thing, trying to make it happen, or the bad thing, trying to make it not happen. So if we drop the whole, if that's neither good nor bad, what other awareness, what other possibility is available for me that I've never considered before? So when you start asking curious questions, the universe is delivering, trust me. But not, well, no, the universe is always delivering. We don't receive it if we're in, oh, it has to look like this. It better not look like that. Better not ask me to move house again. Oh, Jesus. Right? Means, what will you be receive if you've already assumed that you're not doing that? Tiny little bit. And so this new intel, which is more about possibilities, more about living in the moment, and you feel how that, if you step out of the polarity, you're actually stepping more into conscious choosing, which is in the field of possibilities of these new waves being delivered. Does that make sense to people? You nod or thumbs up or thumbs down, or yeah. Because when the bigger truth is we're always choosing. Some of it is conscious, most of it is unconscious. Unconscious choosing is based in our programming, our assumptions, and our judgments. It'll never change. I'll always have difficulty with that person. Money will always be a shit show for me. They're all the unconscious. I'll never be accepted. People will never understand me. People will always make it difficult for me to shine my light. They're all the unconscious aspects based on polarity. I'll be attacked because I'm wrong to be the light. They're all divisions. They're all separation stories, right? That might be another thing that you'd look for. Am I running a separation story? Or am I receiving a unity experience? Which one would you choose consciously? And do not beat yourself up if you've been choosing unconsciously because of your programming or the imprinting. Sometimes survival techniques, we had to do things truly to survive. Not always, but truly we have at times done things to survive. It's not a way of living, it's just a way in that moment of staying alive. But then, you know, it gets trapped into the nervous system. Anyway, another story, another day for another story. But conscious choosing from who you really are opens infinite possibilities. If you're conscious, if you're choosing from the limited programming of the human experience that is currently the majority of what's running on the planet for the human, will you choose into greater possibilities, or will you choose into either status quo or greed or a survival mechanism of some sort? Because the unconscious choosing, so the polarity is based in self-doubt and limitation as a blanket kind of statement. So, you know, this might show up as things like the overworking energy, you know, that leads to exhaustion and things. And then, of course, when you get to exhaustion, what most people do, of course, is drop their goals or their dreams, and then make a judgment on themselves, how they're lazy or ineffective or whatever. And so it wraps up into a polarity statement of I'm good, I'm bad, I'm worthy, I'm not worthy, I've got the discipline, I'm lazy. But when you start to then choose conscious choosing, you can start to play around with, okay, so what serves my highest expression right now? And if you truly ask that question with no expectation, you will receive. Sometimes it might mean the intel might be go have a rest, but other times it might actually be, you know what, move all of that to the side and just do that. Why? Don't ask why. It's not the question. Question is looking for an answer, which you can then make right or wrong, good or bad. You just keep following the intel that is pouring onto the planet that's always going to lead you to greater possibility. Is it a smooth fucking road? No. We will escalate so much more quickly when we know that we're intending ease, joy, and grace, and then sometimes shit shows up, because at the moment on this planet, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of very sad souls on the planet, and they will behave in certain ways. You're not a sad soul. You're an empowered presence, infinite being, conscious, making conscious choices. Doesn't mean you put up with it. That's a whole other extension of today's conversation. But again, when you show up as you, all I can say is the dynamic changes. If you put a drop of blue ink into a glass of water, it cannot help but change that water to blue. And you are a drop of that blue or red or whatever your favorite color is. So conscious choosing is asking open questions. What creates greater for me? Right now, what creates greater for me? That's the simplest question. Because you're taking yourself out of polarity and you're attuning to your codes that we've just started to bring alive, right? Like I wouldn't have thought that, and this happens all the time, I wouldn't have thought that if I did that, that would happen. Like, go figure. I'm sure we've all had various, experiences of that. But what this is, it's like we receive and transmit that as a possibility, and that is our reality. Conscious choosing as our reality, as opposed to living from belief systems that contain. What change happens in your world? Because remembering that your world, all of our worlds, make up the world. The world is not made up of governments. And you see a lot of unconscious people blaming the government for this and blaming the government for that. Who voted them in, dickheads? Well, in most countries, not all countries. But we make up the world. If somebody comes across you in your world, in your day, and you're being you, and it's absolutely fucking extraordinary, and they go home and go, that's it, John, we're moving. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we are moving out of this city and we are going north. That's it. And they did that because they came across you consciously choosing, creating your reality, not being stuck in your old belief systems. So this is another opening phrase that I use a lot, that if I drop my assumptions and my judgments, what else am I actually aware of? And you don't necessarily always get an answer, but what you will receive when you practice this is you'll be walking down the hallway or about to get on a phone call and it'll just drop in like, oh my God, of course. And then you will choose differently. For all sorts of things. If I wasn't judging and assuming this, an example is my next door neighbours had a lot of health issues. She's gone a bit funny, a bit offhand. The other day went exactly that. So if I wasn't assuming judging this, what else am I aware of? She wants a hug and a good cry, right? I can do that. I can give her a big hug and let her have a good cry. Totally, I can do that. So she's coming over for afternoon tea, and I know pretty much exactly what will happen. We'll have a big hug and she'll have a big cry. Perfect. I wonder if she's snappy. And so when you drop your assumption and judgments, what else are you aware of? And, this can be, that's an example in relationship to another person, can be about your business. If I drop my assumption and judgments about how this will go, what else am I aware of? You're creating a completely different world, and the intel is streaming in. When you ask a question, the universe always answers. Most of the time, though, we go into polarity and don't like it, right? All right, so the last thing, sorry, I hope I was so determined to go in time today, but never mind. We're going a little bit over time. I hope people can stay, but if not, then you will receive the recording. So the last thing I wanted to address, and it's a perfect follow-on from this energy of moving out of polarity, but wasn't right or wrong. What else am I aware of? If I wasn't judging, if I wasn't assuming. This ultimately brings us into what I call dynamic neutrality, which is the freedom of polarity. You can have the shit and the paradise. You're not naive. You're actually present to where the planet is right now. And there's shit and there's sunshine. And you're empowered in both of those awarenesses. And you get to choose. Dynamic neutrality. So if everything was information, and awareness, and you dropped the meaning and the significance, took away the polarity, and it was just information, can you feel how much freedom you give yourself? It's like, well, hang on a second, it's not good about it. I've just got a whole lot of information about what this business is doing, or what that business is doing, or what this person is doing, or just like, okay, all right. So, okay, what else is possible? What do I choose? Not what should they choose. What do I choose? Because that's you. And that's the other thing where a lot of people trip themselves up. It ends up being about, well, I'm aware of that and they should do this and that should happen and that company and that government should do this. Whoa, 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 whoa. Totally giving your power away, because you do what you do and they do what they do. And so when you make it about somebody or something else, you actually pass part of your power over to that. We want to bring our power and our presence all the way back to us. So what do I do in relationship to that? I write a letter. We don't write letters anymore. I know I get on wherever, social media, and go bling, 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 whatever. Dynamic neutrality. Because you're allowed to have a point of view, right? You're allowed to have a preference. But it's not based on good, bad, right, or wrong. It's based on what else is possible. And when you're asking that, it actually starts to reflect the truth of who you are, the possibility of you. And isn't that what you came here for? Isn't that the possibility portal? The possibility of actually being you in this incarnation and beyond, on this most extraordinary planet, with this most extraordinary planet. So you're in combination with this energy that's moving us out of polarity, we can plug into a completely different energy rather than it having to do what's right or having to avoid what's wrong. You become the receiver and transmitter of what else is possible, and there's plenty of things on this planet that require change. Could we not agree on that? Can we agree on that? And when I look at the way the universe works and I go, well, if we dropped out of polarity, all I can see is rapid, 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 rapid change. When we're stuck in polarity, all I see is roadblock, 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 fight, resistance. And that's why this wave of energy, your higher purpose, we all are possibility portals. And, for those of you who have resonated with what I've been talking about today, there is I have got a possibility portal starting in middle of March, which is an 8-week expansion into the possibility of you, basically. And, I'll send you that information when I send you the replay. You can have a look, see what you think. Because this is the beginning, right? We are the possibility. We are the living, breathing possibility. And as we move out of our program and be more and choose to be more of that possibility portal, what do you think happens in our world? Because our world is the world. Anybody like to hazard a guess? It's like something. Well, we don't know. Okay. More magic, expansion, alignment. Thank you, Francesca. Infinite change. Yeah, absolutely. And if you tune into the planet and if you tune into these energies, they are talking about change. Change as a congruent state, right? Unlimited, totally. Because essentially the universe is benevolent. But part of the way that it becomes benevolent is it has no judgment on psychic disturbances, unicorns and rainbows. Universe includes all of that. And when you're not fighting and resisting those things, everything changes very quickly. And we fight and resist because we've made a judgment, an assessment. And so these energies that are coming onto the planet and these 4 things that I've covered today are tools that will enable you to continue to receive and transmit the incoming waves. And if you're really into it, then the possibility portal would be amazing for you because you inherently become the possibility of light that you truly be. So we spend dedicated 8 weeks together, once a week, activating, doing things. There's a whole bunch of meditations or guided processes that you receive, and then live interaction, opportunity to do some private sessions along with the group session. The group's limited to 11 people, so there's not thousands of us, so everybody gets some attention, personal attention in there. So the golden future as described by Diana Cooper. Yes, golden, golden, golden. Any questions or comments about today, about the possibility portal? I see somebody typing something. Well, that could be typing a message to their partner. Who knows? I'm just going to change my view before we finish up for today. All right. Oh, Sue's question. Where did it go? I've forgotten. What's the new way to set an intention? The new way to set an intention. Sorry, I'm going to come back to that. Tricia, exciting and a bit overwhelming. Now, I was on a masterclass call at 5 o'clock this morning, and I got this fabulous reframe on overwhelm. What if overwhelm is just an abundance of opportunity? So, Trish, when are you going to consciously choose opportunity? And that kind of links into intention, Sue. So the new way of intention is being open to the possibility. So you have an intention rather than a goal. So an intention energetically, you're mutually calling each other together. So that's a unity. A goal is I will get there. So you do all the work. So an intention has a much more collaborative energy. And the intention is attuned to what you know and who you be, and your ability to express that, or your opportunity to express that. Does that make sense? But the biggest thing about intention is that it's a mutual connection. You're working with the universe. Okay, universe, I feel like playing with, what's something you feel like playing with, Sue? More clients, more freedom to travel. Thank you for all the thank yous there. All that. Well, yes, and intentions, well, yeah, I'm not going to go into all of that, but yes, so that intention, it's like you're meeting that possibility. You're not driving towards it. What do I be to meet that possibility? Who do I be to meet that possibility? So you do have an intention of traveling more. You do have an intention of having more clients. Who do I be to meet that? You're not waiting for the universe to deliver. You're in it together because you are the universe. So thank you, everybody, for all the thank yous. I hope that's a big contribution to you. And I also hope that some of you continue the contribution with you. Have a look at the possibility portal, which will be heaps of fun. And yeah, I look forward to answering any questions around that you would like. And we will see you soon. Much love, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.